The bull market is back, baby. Bitcoin finally made its first higher high since making an all-time high at 74,000 in March. Some altcoins starting to move, but generally Bitcoin dominance also continuing to make new highs. Is it time to start looking at altcoins? Should we be Bitcoin focused and what's going on with all the other markets? Today is the day that we take a look at the charts. I wasn't here this morning or yesterday morning. Good to get back on YouTube this afternoon with Wick for Trading Alpha. Let's go, guys.
Let's go.
What is up, everybody? I'm Scott Melker, also known as the Wolf of Wall Street. Before we get started, please subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. I'm going to go ahead and bring Wick on right now. We finally did it, man. Bitcoin broke above 70,000. First time it's made a higher high since the all-time high. We had lower highs, lower lows. Bull market's back, right?
I think you're right, Scott. I mean, the last 2.5 weeks have literally been the most exhilarating thing that we've had ever since, I think, February. So yes, I'm kind of excited, and I hope everyone else is ready.
Well, let's dive in. What do you got?
Okay, so I got the Bitcoin chart up, but before I look at that, let's go ahead and look at the dollar. I've been talking about this because, as you can see, the dollar has been rallying for quite some time here on the daily charts. And I've been talking about this because for a while, Bitcoin and crypto was rallying with it, and then it started to get weak the higher the dollar went. And I've been saying that as soon as we break below this channel and see some weakness, I think we could see the Bitcoin chart start popping. And I think that also in tandem with the Trump trade, so have you. I think that's what's happening here. But you can see that the dollar chart here has been presenting this up channel. And within this up channel, it's been printing these T's. And I've been watching them, but none of them have been confirmed over here. You can see none of them close below the lower wick. However, this one here at the very top, this one does close. The next bar does close below the topping signal, making this a confirmed top. And shortly after, we get another topping signal, and we have broken below that channel. So that's very interesting to see in the correlation that Bitcoin has now had a good little run up here. So that's really interesting. I hope the dollar keeps falling, and I think the closer we get to this, election kind of resolving, I think we could see a really good run up, even further, another leg in Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin's been in this stage 3 consolidation pattern, and this is similar to this stage 3 here. So what happened was we went through the bear market. The bear market was here. We started printing all these Bs in the stage 1 basing phase, went through a little uptrend. I call this a stage 2 part 2 uptrend. And then we go into a stage 3 basing. The reason why I'm going over this again is because this basing phase is the same thing we had. We have a stage 2 part 2 uptrend. This is the parabolic leg. And this all here was another stage 3 basing, just like here, that I was waiting for this to resolve. And once we started to break out of this, I said to everyone that I'm kind of expecting it to retest this downtrend line and possibly have a good resolve from it. And that would get us past this resistance. And that's exactly what we've done. So the next thing, obviously, is testing all-time highs. I don't think we're going to have as much of of trouble as we've had on this downtrend line here. So I think in the next couple of weeks, we could have a good chance of breaking that all-time high. And as you know, once we break all-time highs, there's no overhead resistance after that. And we could get another stage 2 part 2 run up. Now, if that happens, right, in these stage 2 part 2s, the beautiful thing about that is when you follow the dots here, when it really starts to go parabolic, that's when these things really start to get valuable. As you can see here, it did not stop at all, until about right here, until that leg was done. And it did the same thing in the previous cycle when we had that stage 2 part 2, right? So that's kind of my trigger of what I'm looking for and exactly how I'm playing it. And yes, very excited to see us just break above that. And I think we're simply just seeing a normal correction after a good little run here, right, within a macro uptrend. So very, very good price action on Bitcoin. We got a bunch of charts to get through here, so I'm just going to keep running if that's okay with you, Scott.
It does. It just leads us to the altcoin conversation. For those who didn't see, Bitcoin dominance actually got above 60% today, I think.
Boom.
So
there you go.
It hit 60%. I think hopefully that's the top, because this is the time in the cycle when altcoins should start moving, but it's been very Bitcoin only.
Yeah, if we can have a little bit of a run up and maybe get stall right here or stall a little bit right after the all-time high and retest it, I think that's the time when you really see alts start to come alive in this part of the cycle. So I 100% agree with you. One thing that I wanted to point out here that was very interesting, and I was talking to you about this, you also noticed this, is that from the stage one basing, this is how I measure it, from the stage one basing here where you have your resistance and your support, our run up on Bitcoin has been a 370% profit margin here. But if you compare that to MicroStrategy, I mean, MicroStrategy is dwarfing Bitcoin right now. We're at an 1,800% run up from the stage one lows. So you might ask yourself, why is that, right? That's kind of what I've been asking myself. I mean, we're getting out of technicals here, but I think it's because a lot of these option contracts on stocks like this, they have to rebuy every time that, they kind of hit that strike point. I also think that a lot of the European countries, they get taxed a lot differently on crypto, a lot harder on crypto when they hold crypto, and they don't get taxed as harshly on stocks. So I think that MicroStrategy is having a run up this entire time because of that dynamic shift, which has been very interesting. So for those of you that are a little bit scared of crypto, or you want to try something else, MicroStrategy has been outperforming in a big way.
Wild.
Yeah. Moving on to one of my favorite coins here. Here is Salona. And very interesting because Salona is also presenting the same pattern that Bitcoin had. So I think that once we start to get a little bit of that Bitcoin dominance coming down, like you say, I'm very much expecting Salona here to break out and who knows, possibly retest that yellow line just like Bitcoin did, right? So this is the same pattern that we saw in Bitcoin here, in my opinion. And I'm really excited about that. We've waited quite a long time for Solana to get close to 200 again. And I think this could be shortly lived, this resistance here until we break out there. So I'm also watching Solana. No setup on there yet, but that's what I'm watching. I'm watching for a breakout of this yellow downtrend line. Moving on to a stock, let's talk about Tesla. Tesla's been another one that I've been playing. And as you can see here, very interesting as well. It's broken above this resistance, tested the resistance. And just like any asset that's higher than a 50 beta, you have a little bit of a deviation, have a little green dot reaction here. So I think that this could break higher. I think that's looking pretty good to me. And we can't talk about Elon Musk and Tesla without talking about Dogecoin. So looking at Dogecoin here, let me just misplace that here. This is supposed to be over here. We've had this downtrend line here, and you can see the topic signals played out beautifully, right? Topic signal broke down into a stage 4 downtrend. We start to base right here, break out a little bit, but we're still not above the macro downtrend line. But now we get a bottom signal, green dot to confirm the bottom. And now, of course, we're breaking above that macro line. And I think this is very, very bullish for Doge. Of course, the next last spot that you want to look out for is right here by the topping signal. Once we break above that, I think this thing is going to moon. I particularly pay attention more to levels that are closer rather than further away. So I think that this is a very, very important level. And I do love the fact that we've confirmed this bottom. I mean, the last time we confirmed a bottom on this chart, I mean, we have to go back pretty far here. So I'm liking this pattern a lot. Moving on, I'm going to go into Sui, and then we can go into gold, and then some chart requests that we had on both your page and my page. Sui's looking really good. Again, another deviation. We had it, break just past the support, deviation under the support, and now we're having a good reaction. I love the fact that this weekly bar is more than 50% of this down bar here. So that's a very bullish sign to me. I think, again, once we see Bitcoin dominance come down, this could be another one of my favorites to watch for. So look for that setup there. You can see here I have some fib lines drawn. These were drawn actually quite a long time ago. And this is my level here that obviously it broke above and kind of faded right there. So I'm looking to test this level here. And I think after that, we could see Sui do a nice little run up, being a higher beta to, let's say Solana. Moving on from crypto, let's just talk about gold. We have to talk about gold a little bit because it's breaking all-time highs and it's been doing amazingly well, okay? So you can see here, this is more of a macro stage 1 basing. We did get a confirmed reversal to then test the resistance quite a few times before breaking out of it. This is a very bullish entry here. This would be a good entry looking in hindsight. It's your stage 2, start of your stage 2. And what do we do in stage 2, Scott? We just follow the green dots once we go parabolic. And it's done pretty well right here. It loses the green dots, retest the track line. That's another one of our setups, stays above a green line. And then we're off to the races. And we're currently at all-time highs again. And as you know, Scott, no overhead resistance. It is pretty extended, but again, there's no resistance overhead. So who knows how high gold can go. I really like that as well. Now that we've gone through those, let's get to some of the chart requests. Now, not all of these are going to be bullish because they are chart requests, but I want to answer your questions. So starting with JASM, this has been a pretty great trade. I traded this a few times and have posted about this. We went through a stage 1 basing. We got a squeeze shading, letting you know that a violent move is incoming, breakout arrow, and that started the whole new uptrend. And of course, we had a little bull flag here, broke again to the upside, and then we started our stage 4 downtrend and eventually got red bars. Now, where are we now? Because that's what you want to know, is we're seeing a squeeze shading, but the price action is staying to the lower part, the lower quadrant of that squeeze shading, which to me really isn't that bullish, right? And we do have a potential looking little double bottom here, but I'm really not liking the fact that we're so close to breaking, having that breakout arrow to the downside. So whoever requested this chart, you know, I like JASM. I've made some money off of it, but not right now. It's not set right now. You want to wait for another setup. You know, if this possibly breaks out to the upside, I don't know how it would reach that far or gets a confirmed reversal, but other than that, I'm not really too excited about JASM here. Moving on to Render. This is another coin that I've really liked in the past. Same type of price action, right? We were in that squeeze shading. The price action is in the lower quadrant of that squeeze shading, which means that we have a higher probability of breaking to the downside. You can also see the volume has fallen off and there's no volume kind of picking up. You can see here when we have those stage 2 uptrends, a lot of times we'll get volume profiles climbing. This is the alpha volume. Everything below a red line is low volume. Everything above a red volume is high volume, and everything above a green line is extreme volume. And we usually get tags of that extreme volume for confirmation of a nice run. And of course, as you can see, there's just nothing really happening here with Render yet. So a bit more patience is needed for that, whoever requested that chart. Moving on to Popcat right here. This is, of course, as you know, been a really amazing asset as far as performance goes this cycle, and it just keeps climbing higher and higher. You can see again, we were just what this does is it climbs higher, it starts to base, it starts to build up volatility, and then it keeps making these squeeze shading breakouts to the upside. You can see here's one breakout arrow after squeeze shading, another one goes higher, and another one, and it just keeps pushing these legs higher. So, you know, while we're waiting for Bitcoin dominance to come down, I wouldn't be surprised if we base at some point and form this again. I see this all the time in bull markets. Some assets just love to do this, just to base and to make legs higher. So that's what I'm watching for with Popcat Soul. But as you know, we're looking at that Bitcoin dominance for all of these things to pop out. Moving on to WIF. WIF looks okay. You know, we had a little bit of a run, but as you can see, the dots have stopped. That's my signal to kind of just pay attention. Once one dot stops, you know, a lot of times I'll look for a retest of the track line. The track line is so low, and we've now got the second weekly candle now without a green dot. So if this doesn't close with a green dot, I'm not too excited about this anymore. Again, maybe give it some time, wait for that Bitcoin dominance to come down lower and see if we can find another setup, right? Just because you can't find something now doesn't mean you can't be patient or set alerts. Moving on to AIOZ. We've tried to pronounce this before. I think you've actually charted this quite a few times, right, Scott?
Yeah, I also love this one.
Yeah. So again, kind of presenting, you know, we have like bullish charts and bearish charts in crypto. Like they're nothing in between here. So again, with this one here, we're below a track line, below my my resistance zone over here. You can see it's a little gray area. We're printing a squeeze shading again in the lower quadrant. Nothing to get excited about here. Whoever requested this chart, at least not yet until we get another setup. So that's it for the charts here. But I did want to also give you guys a little sniff of the screener as well, since we are running, and we'll talk about this later, running a Black Friday sale that started today. And the screener is also possible to get that 30% discount on the screener. So let me go ahead and do a little test here. So let's do cryptocurrencies. We'll do macro. We'll go weekly. And let's look for some confirmed bottoms. Okay, those bottom signals, but not just bottoms. Let's look for them confirmed. We'll do a 20 candle look back on this and see what we get. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so as you can see here, there's not much that's popping on the weekly, but it does give us one result. So let's look and see what that is presenting. Obviously,
GBP.
Yeah, British pound. But that's the thing, right? I'm trying to show you guys that this is how easy it is when you do have results. And you can see here we have a bottom signal confirmed with a green dot breaking out to the upside. So whenever you have these assets present these patterns, that's how easy it is to find them. Unfortunately, today, as Scott's saying, this is in the British pound pairing. Okay, but we can do another one. Let's go ahead and do another weekly, but this time let's do equity since crypto is just not popping off. I don't show equities enough, so we'll also do a weekly chart, and let's do something different as well to give you a variety. Let's go away from the bottoms, and let's just do one green dot. So that would be the very first sign that a possible trend is starting. One green dot on equities on weekly. And let's see what we have here. And you can see we have a lot more charts that are popping here on this. We'll pick a popular one. Let's look at Google here. We'll zoom in. And you can see here that we're having one green dot pop here. The first green dot, and it's after a little basing pattern. So this would be the start of a stage 2. But we do, of course, have some resistance overhead. But that's how easy it is, Scott, to catch a lot of these setups with the screener. Now, a lot of people ask me, should they get the screener or the indicators? And you should definitely get the indicators because you need the indicators like this to confirm the results. So the screener is more for people that already have the alpha bundle yearly and are looking to kind of just, put some sauce on that. That's it for
all the time.
Yeah. So that's it for today. Unless you want to take some more chart requests, I am open to that. We do have 15 minutes. It's
RUNE,
up to you, Scott.
I see over here. Link, RUNE are the ones I'm seeing over here. RUNE.
Okay, we can do link.
Link. Either of those.
What am I typing? Link
well.
USD. Okay, then we'll do it on Binance as more data. All right, so you can see here, Link is still under a track line. It's not bullish just yet, but it is presenting a bit of a confirmed bottom here. And I do kind of like this pattern here. So again, I do think Link, if we see that Bitcoin dominance come down, I think Link is one that will pop, but I'm not seeing a valid setup. For me, valid setup here would be a little pop above the track line, or at least a pop above where your stage 1 basing is. For me, it would be, let me get this magnet off, probably right. Yeah, probably right there. Okay, anything in that zone right here, pop above that. To be sure, a pop above the red line would be probably a start of a nice stage 1. We'll see how the volume goes. The volume hasn't come in just yet. So I'd want to see a little pop on volume. I want to see a pop above this resistance and possibly above this track line before I got excited. You can see here that, yeah, it's a nice chart, but it just hasn't have it set up just yet. Anybody else have a chart request?
We had, you already did DXY. Somebody requested. The other one was RUNE, RUNE. FTM
yeah.
was another one. RUNE, FTM. We can take those.
Okay. Let's look at RUNE. Oh, yeah. So RUNE, we had a little stage 2 uptrend, topping signal confirmed. This has been a stage 4 downtrend. But I do like here. Okay, so this is kind of what I'm looking for, right? It's breaking above a track line. It has consecutive green dots. Not only is the micro trend bullish, but now we've got green bars, meaning the macro trend is bullish. So yeah, I do think that RUNE probably has a higher probability of popping once we see that Bitcoin dominance come down. And also the next resistance is quite far away here. This is a weekly chart. So I do like that. I do like that it's not anywhere close. That would be your resistance here. But I like this. I would consider this a stage 2 part 1 uptrend, and I would consider testing this, breaking above after test, maybe retesting. This would be a start of your stage 2 part 2, in my opinion, which would go hand in hand, which what I was talking about before. That's when you should probably see it pop a lot more. I think we'd probably take one more chart, Scott, if you got it.
How about AVAX?
Okay, let's do it, and let's look at AVAX. I haven't looked at AVAX in a while. Okay, same thing, right? So whoever's in AVAX here, if you saw this topping signal confirmed right here, stage 4 downtrend, you got red dots, eventually red bars, and it's done nothing exciting since then. There's no setup on AVAX, at least on the weekly chart. Now, guys, if you are trading a lower time frame, of course, if you have the indicators, you can go to the daily chart or 1 hour or whatever your fancy is. But I like to look at the weekly chart and then start looking for setups on a lower time frame. That way I know that I'm trading with the trend. And right now the trend is simply going sideways. This is a basing pattern. So it's not bearish, but it's not yet bullish. Again, you want to see a break with green dots above the track line. And if we have some type of setup, whether it's a bottom signal or a confirmed reversal, that would be nicer. But for now, AVAX is just basing sideways, which seems to be about 70% of the crypto assets are doing right now until they see Bitcoin kind of cool off a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I think that alts are going to wildly outperform soon. If you're not trying to catch the dead bottom, they're probably pretty cheap right now. But then again, we don't have confirmation, I don't think, for trades.
Yeah, I agree with you, Scott. And I think, you know, I think it might, if we do get that Trump trade, I mean, if you guys want to look back to 2017, or a lot of you that were in the market in 2017, you very well remember what happened to that. So, you know, if these policies come through again, yeah, I think that we see a really robust bull market coming. So I'm kind of excited. I've been waiting for this, and boy, has it been painful sitting through this Bitcoin stage 3.
Biggest sale ever. Tell them about the sale. Black Friday, guys.
All right, guys, it is that time of year where it is Black Friday. Everyone knows we have a sale on Black Friday. This time I've done the largest discount that we've ever done. So if you have been thinking about getting the tools, now is the good opportunity to do so. And I've decided to also throw the screener in there and also throw that 30% discount in with the screener. And if you want the discount, simply just head to the comment section there. You'll see there's a link. You'll go to the website. You'll look for the Alpha Bundle Yearly or the screener, whatever you want. And when you are checking out, if you look on the left-hand side, there'll be a little box there. Enter the discount code 30OFF, 30OFF, and that should drop the price substantially for you. And we're going to run this on a limited sale, limited amount of people, but I do expect this to go all the way to Black Friday. So if you don't get it now or this week, it should run at least for another month or so.
This is the time, guys. If you've been waiting, now is the time to get it. All right, man. I think that's all we got, right?
Yeah. I mean, I did quite a few charts for you guys, and we'll be back next Wednesday.
See you guys next Wednesday, man. Thank you so much, guys. Get Trading Alpha right down in the description. See you soon. Bye.
That's dope.